Definitely happy it's Friday. All right, here we go. For the tube, say what up, tube?
What up, tube?
What up, tube?
All right. And last, but certainly not least, we're going to go live for the podcast in 3, 2, and 1.
Welcome to another episode of
Business Bros!
What up, ladies and gentlemen? Happy Friday!
Happy Friday!
Or
whatever
Friday.
day it is. Friday. Yeah, Friday.
Yay.
Friday.
Anyways, Hernancias here, host of the Business Bros podcast, along with my co-host,
the insurance bro, James C.S. with Pipeline Insurance. And as always, especially on a Friday, we have an exciting show for you. Y'all ready to rock and roll this? All right, check this out.
Hey, audio echo.
Audio echo.
Ooh,
Hopefully it doesn't cut out this time.
Facebook, let us know if it cuts out. I don't know.
Yeah.
That might have been
sorry about that
last
yesterday. Time. It totally sucked. But anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, intro. All right, here we go. Ready? My favorite part because I get to do this. This is like the only time I talk. Every real estate transaction needs a home inspection, but not all inspectors are created equally. For your next property, remember the Red House. This group of young, innovative, and motivated inspectors make it their mission to be ahead of the real estate industry, offering a wide variety of services beyond what most inspectors do, including sewer and roof inspections. From the Inspectors Company, please welcome Eric Martinez.
Thank you guys for having me.
That's good, huh?
Yeah, that was perfect.
Yeah, he does a good job.
You're
gonna copyright
a
that.
little bit of a talent.
He prides himself on that.
I like it. It's
Congratulations.
the only time I get to talk on the show. So
he's like, I'm gonna make it shine, baby. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
baby.
make it shine.
You know that. And it's Friday, too. So.
And it's Friday.
it's Friday.
All right, before we get into the conversation with Eric, 365 pairs of shoes is what we're looking for. We're at 265. Eric brought us another pair of shoes. Thank you very much.
Wait, that
You're
means
We're
100. We got 100 pairs left.
left.
The next one that comes in brings us into the double digits.
Boom.
Whoop, whoop.
So we're that much closer. If you got new shoes, used shoes, or you want to donate cash, hit James up, 619-884-0045 or james@csfirst.com. He also does insurance. So if you need help with, we're going to talk about a little bit, maybe probably about workers' comp, but you need workers' comp, you need commercial, you need life, health, whatever it is you need. Or maybe you want to add insurance into your office. You got a department you want to keep increasing your bottom line by not having to do anything else. Let us take care of that for you. Hit James up, 619-884-0045 or james@csfirst.com. And then, of course, the sun is shining. A lot of energy coming in. Are you taking advantage of it by getting solar? If you're thinking about getting solar, make sure you go to dronequote.net/business bros. They're going to basically send out a drone. It's going to take pictures of your rooftops, take all the measurements, send it to roofing companies, send it to solar companies, and then you're going to sit back and look at a quote and decide which one of these quotes are you going to pick from. No more sitting in front of a bunch of salesmen for 2 hours. Just one spot right there. Pick the quote that works for you and start taking advantage of that. SUN. All right, ladies and gentlemen, dronequote.net/business bros. Boom.
Business Bros.
Promo's done.
You nailed that, too.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I say it every day.
Remember the little
I've
red
had plenty
house.
of
Remember
practice,
the
so
little
yeah.
red house. All right, Eric, you ready?
Ready to go?
You're a fellow IB boy, right?
I am.
Tell me a little bit about, growing up and then how'd you get into this thing?
Yeah, Imperial Beach, grew up on 16th Street right there in IB. So it's a little outside of IB, but I still consider being from IB.
Dude, anytime you get off Palm on the 5, it's
Right.
pretty much IB, even though that little stretch from like Saturn to like 16th Street is still like what, 92154,
No,
right?
13th.
Yeah.
13th.
Yeah, it was 92154. I think it's like
Yeah.
the zip code they transitioned
Yeah,
into.
but once you hit 13th Street, supposedly it's IB. Man, that whole thing is IB.
91932.
Yeah, so I grew up on IB, 16th Street. Pretty much spent my whole childhood there. Went to Central Elementary. Some people.
I know exactly where that's at. Yeah,
Central Elementary. And
Bayside,
then,
baby.
and just kind of growing up, Mar Vista Middle School. Then went to Mar Vista High School. Graduated from there in 07. And then just I basically was just trying to find my way into this world, and went to college and went to this, City College, Mesa College. I was in sports pretty much throughout my whole high school, and I was just trying to find something that kind of related to what I was doing already. So first, originally, when I went to school, I wanted to be a physical therapist. Then that kind of changed when I just started, just basically I just wanted to find a job, find work, try to make some money. And then a friend of mine from high school actually was working at this bail bond company for a while. and he's the one that kind of got us in the door and got us hired. And it was kind of a job where I started, making a little bit of money.
You got the hookup.
Yeah, I got the hookup. I basically didn't have to go to the interview, but I had to show up.
Yeah, show face. Yeah, show everybody else who is interviewing that it's a process, and I just got the job.
Yeah. So it was already set up for me, but so I've been working in the bail bond industry for a little while, and I was a licensed agent, and then it was just kind of a job that I kind of just just decided to just walk away from. It just wasn't for me anymore, even though the money was okay. I just wanted to do something different. And that's kind of where I fell into kind of doing home inspections when my sister bought a house in Imperial Beach, and the person who did her inspection was a close friend of hers. And he was just like, hey, Eric, I know you're not liking the bail bond thing anymore. Why don't you come and check out what I'm doing over here? And so that's kind of how I, discovered home inspections. And I thought it was super cool, and I fell in love with it.
Made it fun. Like, that's the thing. It's funny how you can get a job, right? And you can earn income, but it doesn't necessarily make you happy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, Dog the Bounty Hunter, that dude's all about bail bonds, right? Like, that dude lives and breathes it. But if it's not your thing, even if you're making money at it, it's not always going to make you happy.
Right.
So you did home inspections. You got into the industry. Did you start off building your company right away, or how did you transition?
No, it was a long transition. Most people just didn't know I was doing home inspections for the longest amount of time. While I was still working for the bail bond company, I was kind of like riding along with my sister's friend that did home inspections. He was a one-man shop. He did pretty well for himself, and I just kind of learned the business. Learned everything from him. And then that's when I became even more passionate about what he was doing. You're never in the same place every day. You're in a different neighborhood every day in San Diego. You deal with many demographics. You deal with people from, moderate to lower income to being in luxury $1 million houses. And so then I started getting a taste of like, okay, this is a little bit of the real estate industry I've never seen before. And I never really knew about real estate. And I know some of the guys that worked at the bail bond company, went on from getting their insurance license to their real estate license. So I knew that was kind of a thing where people started migrating towards, and I felt like home inspections was my way of kind of,
because it's still a sales job, right? So that's the thing. Both have their benefits. Like you close a deal in insurance, you get a residual, right? As long as the person pays their bill every year, you're going to get a residual income on the commission. But it's enticing to see the commission checks on a real estate agent. Problem is, you're only as good as your last deal that you close. Once you get paid, that's it. That's one's done. On to the next one, right? So I can see that move. A lot of people make that move because the dollars, right? Chasing the dollars, but it's not always a thing. It's not always the thing.
Yeah, it's not. And so, so like I said, I kind of was doing both at the same time. And, I got laid off from the bail bond job, and I was like, crap, what am I going to do? And so, I started going with him more and more because I had more availability. I was like, what am I going to do? And I was still looking for jobs here and there, but the more I went with him and kind of absorbed and learned everything that he was doing, like I said, the more I became passionate about it. And it took a while for me to actually want to go into business and do home inspections. First, I thought, okay, maybe I could do home inspections, make some side money, at least to get my feet off the ground. And then I got rehired at the bail bonds job. And so I looked at that as an opportunity to, okay, now I can go back to making what I was making, feel comfortable about, my situation, and then save money and put money on the side to maybe start the home inspection business. And that's kind of how I started developing, the idea of starting a business.
It's kind of weird. Like, back to, trying to make some money when you're younger, that's what you're kind of going after, right? You're independent, you're paying your bills. And then you kind of shifted like that day you got laid off. It was, well, I don't know for you, I'm maybe putting words in your mouth, but it seems like that was the day that you realized you were not in control, right? Like you are kind of at somebody else's mercy. And that kind of like, it sounds like it sparked something in your head. Like, I don't want that to happen again. Like, I think I want to go off on my own. Am I putting words in your mouth, or is that like...
No, I mean, I didn't really feel a sense of not being in control. I just felt like this is like, I mean, maybe I did. It was just a different feeling at that time when it did happen. I just felt like, I got laid off, and then it wasn't the first time I actually got laid off from that same company too. So it was just like, you know what, I'm just sick and tired of this. It's not stable. Like you said earlier, like it's just the money that people might be attracted to, but you're not happy. Right. So I was just totally miserable. And the second time that I actually got rehired, one of my close friends from high school, I was telling him about the idea, and he's like, yeah, let's do this together. Because I had enough experience as a home inspector to kind of know what to look for and what to look at. I got certified. I've been doing it for a few years already. So I kind of feel comfortable and confident that I can do this. I just needed, the support and help from someone else. And me and my partner now, we had the same vision, and we got together and just kind of started thinking of ideas like, what are we going to call ourselves? What's the logo going to look like? And we were actually doing this together while I was still working for the bail bond company. And then, management found out that I was doing this side thing, and they didn't like it. So they laid me off for the final time. And to me, it was a blessing, because that was actually right when our business started to pick up a little bit.
They didn't hit the red light. They just gave you a green light.
Yeah, they gave me a green light. So it was probably the only time I will ever say that I'm glad I got fired from something. So
they basically burned the ships for you.
Yeah, they did. It's funny. I just I did a presentation, which I'm going to post online sometime soon, but I did this, I basically spoke to a bunch of high school kids on budgeting and life skills. And one of the things I was really emphasizing is, at some point in your life, you're going to decide that you want to learn something. You're going to decide that you want to make a change, and how you operate in your day is going to be the difference between being average, being like everybody else, and just being above average. And I use like the ABCDF grading scale, right? I was like, look, most of you are going to be C average people. And there's nothing wrong with being average. Most people are. But if you want to do just a little bit better, and I explained to them, I was like, the top 1% earners in this country make $400,000 a year. And it's not millions like a lot of people think. So just being an average in the state of California is about $65,000 a year, right? On average. So you just want to be above average, make $100,000, $200,000 a year. It's the 4 or 5 hours in your day that make the difference. You were talking about working at the bail bond and then also doing this on the side. In other words, you weren't using, you only have those 4 to 5 hours in your day if you take in all the, going to work, sleeping, doing all the things you got to do in your day anyways. 4 to 5 extra hours. You weren't wasting them on like Netflix and movies and all those things. You were putting effort into building something to help you go to another level, right?
Yeah, and I was just like, hey, I'd never want to be in this situation anymore. Maybe I did feel like that was not in control, and I was like, okay, let me take the extra time that I'm off of work to actually, hey, how do I start a business from zero to nothing? And I was actually looking into, where do I go from here if I actually want to do this? And those extra 5 hours or 6, 7 hours, whatever it was, I actually dedicated to try to learn, what it is that I need to do and then actually do it.
So let me ask you something. Were you like a straight A student in high school?
No, I was not. I was not a straight A student. I mean, I would say I was an average student. I didn't get Fs. I didn't, ditch school. I mean, I showed up and probably did what was expected. Yeah. Just to get by. And, I would never say that, education or school was probably my passion, but
because it's funny because, and I expected that, right? You're going to be just get by. You didn't really care to learn, but all of a sudden you found something where you're like, I want to do it. Did you notice a difference in your ability to learn? Like all of a sudden picking up a book wasn't very difficult, right? Learning about something like home inspections. Look, you bring a home inspection book to 17-year-old kids, they're gonna be like, "The hell is this? This is boring," right?
But but if I pick that up, I'm just consuming every bit of that information that's in that book, just because it's what I love and what I'm passionate about. And like what you were saying, it's like in school, if you're not passionate or if you don't like a certain topic, you're gonna do what's expected, but for the very few out there, for the very few that are out there that love chemistry or love math, of course, you're going to dive in and know everything that you need to learn about math or want to learn about math or chemistry or whatever that topic is.
All right. So tell me about you've decided to consume enough information, right? You're taking all this information and you're learning about business, but you did something different that a lot of people don't do. A lot of people end up stuck in that cycle of learning, never implementing. So you started to implement, right? So you started your business. You guys decided to get going. And when did you start? And then how did you start to take off? What bumps in the road did you come across?
I think it was so as soon as I got let go, which was probably the best time for me to actually start doing. We basically just, how do we get the word out there? How do we tell people that, that we're in business and we're inspectors? How do we market ourselves?
Problem number one,
you have to get customers, right? So how do we get customers? And we figured, okay, people are only going to buy a house, how many times in their life? So real estate agents really are our customers. And, we did things like go to open houses, go to networking events. It helped to know a few real estate agents already at that time to kind of help us get a few referrals. But I think it came down to once you got that referral, once you got that first customer, what are you going to do afterwards, right? And I guess what I try to do the best I could is just try to blow them away with my service, with my intent, with, the way I cared about what I'm doing to make them refer me to other people. And so I think that's kind of where the business started kind of trickling and getting bigger and bigger by just the efforts that people are recognizing that we actually, do when we actually do an inspection. We don't just do what's expected in an inspection. We try to do a little bit extra in terms of, hey, once we do the inspection, let me walk the actual customer around the house and show him his house. You're only going to see this in a report, but let me actually point this out to you in person. That way, when you get that report, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So just taking those extra effort or extra steps to, make the effort to actually, provide the best service you can.
Tell me about some of those walkthroughs. Like, I know I've gone through a number of different inspections, and sometimes I'm really tripped out on some of the stuff. Like, we've done sewer inspections, and watching the camera go through the sewers and be like, look, see this right here? Look, there's a crack right here. Right. This is right now. It's not a big problem, but this is going to be a potential problem that you want to look into. Oh, look, this is where, you know how you flush wipies down the toilet? Well, you probably shouldn't do, the baby wipies because those are problematic. And look, this is what happens. Like, just being able to see those things, or, taking, I don't know if you guys have that, but the little machines that capture moisture in the walls, right?
Yeah,
and you're looking infrared cameras, right? Yeah. And you're like, look, see this? Like, you wouldn't notice it anywhere else, but we're showing you right here that there's something. It's either seepage or you're looking at pipes or whatever it's going to be.
Yeah.
This is what's going on here. Tell me a little bit about, what kind of experiences what kind of reactions do you see your clients as you show them some of the cool stuff that you do?
I think so. I guess the thing that I try to do is try not to give them an overreaction. I want to educate them of what I'm looking at first so they can understand what I'm showing them. So I think that's kind of the approach that I like to go to. But, sometimes they are surprised. You'll have people that are really shocked or scared or terrified that this is here. And I guess the next question that comes in their head is, who's going to fix this, right? Mm-hmm. I'm buying this house. Whose responsibility is it to fix it? And I get asked that all the time. And that's where I step back and I'm like, hey, I'm only delivering the information that I see. I think it's up to you and consult with your real estate agent in terms of whose responsibility is to fix that. And I try to be the mediator and not let them get too afraid or too excited about something. But I do want to be, unbiased and neutral and just kind of be like, hey, here's what we got here, but, we can figure this out.
One of the things that I've learned is it doesn't matter if the house is new construction or the house was built 50 years ago or recently remodeled. It's always crucial to get an inspection because every single house is going to have something going on with it. Right. And it's better to just know what's going on with it and decide 100%. Whether you want to move forward or not. Like, how do you feel about it? Because some people are like, I'm getting new construction. I don't need an inspection. All right, this place just got rehabbed. I don't really need to get it done. We can skip that. Like, the due diligence is vitally important. And for what you guys charge to come out and do that, like, I think it's worth it. You ever have to talk to people and like try to skip out on this part?
I've never spoken to them when they try to skip it, but I have heard of people not wanting to get an inspection, even on a brand new house, because it's a brand new house. Sometimes when you get that brand new house, it's still in the middle of a construction site. Things are still being built, and sometimes people can forget to install certain things in your house, or sometimes all it takes is someone turning something on. And you would have never known that if you bought the house, and then you're having to call an electrician to turn a breaker on, where if you would have got it inspected, you wouldn't have had to pay the $150 or $200 for an electrician to come just to flip a breaker on. If you got an inspection, you would have known that ahead of time and not had to pay an extra $150. Or even with flips, like I like to tell people, hey, sometimes a flip is a good flip, or sometimes it's just lipstick on a pig, but you need an inspection to figure out exactly what's going on, because a lot of the times, hey, once we get some rain, then your roof starts to leak, and you never got it inspected. The $400 or $500 that you invest in the inspection. That's kind of what I like to say too. Is you're investing in an inspection, because the $400 or $500 you pay may not be anything compared to what the cost of the repairs are going to be after you get that full report, and then you've kind of pay towards those repairs in a sense if the sellers agree to fix everything or get you a credit on your closing costs. I think is what's pretty standard. Just a little kickback here and there.
Well, and here's the other thing is, I don't think many people, especially when they're first buying a house, understand that there are different types of inspections, right? So you can inspect something, a general inspection might not cover everything that you should inspect in a house. So tell me a little bit about like what things should somebody inspect that are like the most catastrophic things that people kind of miss out on?
I think the most important too, and then James said this in the introduction, is roof and sewer, because those are the two things that if you don't really get a second opinion on, a huge expensive problem can come up if something comes up in the future once you move in and buy the house already. So I would say sewer and roof. A lot of these homes in San Diego are super old, built in the 50s, 60s, and even earlier than that, have the original sewer lines. And sometimes you can have tree roots in there, you can have a collapsed section, and all of a sudden sewage is going to back up into your house. So that's an additional inspection that I highly recommend getting done, because you're going to get a video report.
I'm so sorry to jump in here.
Yeah, no worries.
But I also want to mention, and I should probably turn this around for a half a second here. Okay. You mentioned the water backup and the sewage backup.
Yeah.
That is actually something, and I want to bring this up because it's insurance related, that is typically not covered in your insurance policy, in your normal insurance policy, unless it's specifically added by the agent. So that's definitely something that you would want to get inspected by the inspector's company, and make sure that your insurance agent adds that coverage as well.
So my question would be, does it help? Yeah, that's good to know. Does it help to have the inspection when it comes to my premium, because I have evidence of where it's at?
Not necessarily. It's not something that's going to do anything for your premium. If you have the inspection or don't, we can't provide proof of an inspection and like get a discount on it. The water backup coverage can be added to the policy, and it should be added to the policy as a standard at Pipeline Insurance. We do include that as one of our standard coverages, and we give the buyer, the homeowner, the option to remove that coverage. But if you aren't buying your policy from Pipeline Insurance, I don't know what your agent is doing, and hopefully you have that coverage if you run into that situation.
That's good information, because like, let's say if you don't get the sewer inspected, at least, hey, I don't want to, maybe, it's understandable. Sometimes these home buyers are on a budget right off the bat, and they don't have the extra cash or money to invest in getting the sewer inspection done. But at least maybe if you don't get the sewer inspected, like James said, opt in to get that extra coverage just in case if something did happen to the sewer, at least you're covered.
Because those can be super expensive. I mean, we've had situations in the insurance company and for me in real estate where if the line breaks, we're talking trenching, we're talking permits all the way down to the street. I mean, there could be major damage that you have to fix, and we're talking thousands of dollars. We're talking like, I think we did, I saw a claim. Yeah, I saw a claim that came in somewhere around like $17,000 to redo all the lines from the street all the way through the house. Like that's, and you have to do it. It's not like you can't get away with not doing that at that point.
It's going to go somewhere.
It's going to go somewhere.
Go somewhere. Yeah.
So, it's to avoid spending $20,000 or, $15,000, whatever it's going to be. It's a great investment to spend the next couple $100 when you're going to buy the place to avoid that, or at least to see that that's coming. And there are a lot of different types of fixes. I know we've done some where we do trench out and replace the lines, but we've done somewhere where you do the epoxy lining.
Epoxy, hydrojetting if there's roots, there's a lot of different methods of repairing some sort of damage to the sewer line if you find it. But that's the key, right? Is you gotta be able to find it. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. No, that's huge information for a lot of people, just to understand that, oh shit, my shit might come back.
Really? Come on, man.
So I had to. And if it was Thursday, it would have been perfect.
Yeah, right? That's HIT.
It was HIT. So happy it's Thursday. Nah, dude. So tell me about your growth after that. So you started, understanding a little bit about how to deal with customers, and then you branched out, like you grew. You're no longer like a one-man show. So tell me about like what troubles or what did you go through when you decided I'm getting a little too busy, I think I'm going to grow? Or was this always part of your vision?
Yeah, it was always kind of part of my vision to grow a company and just, own something, right? And once I figured out that I can't be at two places at the same time was when I knew that, hey, we got to start growing here. We got to hire. We have to probably get another inspector. But then, okay, what are the steps to go through that, right? What's the hiring process like? What am I looking for in another inspector? So I think that was one of the challenges early on is, how do I duplicate myself in someone else that I trust with my business? And then just go and, figure out if someone works, great. If not, then, hey, it wasn't meant to be. Cut them loose. So we did go through that in the very beginning, and it wasn't a good fit where, obviously as a growing business, we do let them know like, hey, we're a growing business. We're not Walmart, we're not Target, we're not established yet. And I wanted them to see the vision and the goal too, to be a part of it. Because now in today, my goal has changed and I want to build something bigger than myself. I want to build something that's going to last longer than I'm alive. Right. And I think my kind of goals have changed in terms of, like you said, what struggles that I go through, because I had certain goals where, I want to own a company and then onboard and hire employees. Okay. So what's that going to look like when I get there? And I just kind of started developing, and me and my partner, obviously, having another brain in the picture definitely helped, because one other thing I figured out is you got to have smart people that work for you too. And not only that, if you're, going to go into a partnership with someone, is that other individual competent? Are they,
are they holding it back or helping you up?
Yeah, exactly. So I was very fortunate to have that too. So I can't say that I did it all by myself, but I think it was definitely a team effort, and I had the right people in my life to kind of help the business get to where it is now.
And you ended up outgrowing yourself a little bit, right? Like you started off in a teeny tiny office, and now where you at?
We had a little tiny office in PB for a little while, and then now we're in Spring Valley. We leased a warehouse over there, built out a brand new office from nothing to what it is now, and I'd like for you guys to come by and just to check it out, see what we got going over there. So
Spring Valley, we're actually gonna head out to Spring Valley today. Underground Tacos.
Oh, is that where we're going?
Yeah.
Oh, I knew we were going to the tacos. It is Fish Taco Friday, baby.
Yeah.
Where's this at?
And the Underground Casanova Fish Taco
Tacos.
Club.
That sounds really good. I'm always down for fish tacos.
Got to be part of the Underground Club.
Oh,
dude, it's like what he was telling me, some sort of exclusive thing. We're gonna find out all about it today. So
that's cool.
We're definitely happy to go to the Spring Valley area. So tell me, as we finish up for today, like what is your vision going forward? So you kind of mentioned that you wanted, to build something bigger. What is it? Tell me what it looks like to you. Like if you could fast forward 10 years from now, what does your company look like in 10 years?
I think what I'm trying to do now, little by little, and it's going towards that goal is, there was a quote that, one of my inspectors sent me that, the definition of the home inspection, and it says, I forget the exact definition, but it said, it's a person with a lot of responsibility, dealing with people with different interests, with a certain margin, and then they don't have the resources provided to them, but they're expected to go above and beyond. So we're kind of that guy where, you think I'm the expert, but that's not what the industry, is producing as inspectors. And so to answer your question is, I want to be able to have a place of business where inspectors can come, they can get education by, licensed professionals, roofers, HVAC contractors, electricians, plumbers, have them come in and give continuing education to all of our inspectors and our team, so we have the best in the business. And I don't feel that, any home inspection companies maybe going that direction. And maybe they are, but that's just kind of what I have planned. And just to produce maybe the best inspectors out there in the industry by, reaching out to experts in the field from different trades and train our guys and tell us, hey, these are the things you should be looking out for. and that way we can serve our clients best by having that knowledge, and then hopefully being, you know, one of the better firms out there for inspections. So
sounds like a good plan. Education is one of those things where I feel like when you're a kid, you want to learn everything, right? When you're an infant, you're a toddler, you're always trying to learn everything. I want to know.
Why?
And then we kind of beat the wanting to learn out of these kids through forcing them to learn things they don't want to learn.
School.
Yeah. But then they become adults and they realize that, wait, learning is actually the key to anything I want to do in life. The more I know, the more opportunity I have to do whatever it is I need to do. And then as an adult, as a professional, the more I know, the better service I can be. The better service I can be, the more money I can make, and the bigger company I can build, or whatever it is that you want to do. And I think having education at the core of what you're building is vitally important. We've taken that same process and we've done it in the insurance company. Like, he basically teaches all day long. He's helping people solve problems and give solutions and educating them. And we do the podcast to help people learn stuff. We do, he does trainings every single day to help people learn stuff just so that they're better.
Yeah.
And that I think is going to be the thing that's going to set you apart, is you're going to have very knowledgeable people. And when you have very knowledgeable staff, they're confident. And when they're confident, they provide a good service. And then
exactly,
it just keeps going from there.
Training and education, I think, is the root of maybe success for any business. I think if you're not learning, you're not growing, right? So I've always kind of tell myself that all the time. I have to learn something today that I didn't know tomorrow or yesterday.
Absolutely. So. All right. So I want you to do me a favor. I want you to look at this camera right here. I want you to tell people how to get a hold of you. And if you forget your phone number, don't worry. James is going to place it right there at the bottom. You can point down at the bottom of the screen.
No worries. So my personal cell phone is 858-866-6431. So for some reason I can't be reached, you can always get a hold of someone in my office, 619-501-8282. You can get a hold of someone there.
Perfect. All right. And then we're going to do an Ask the Bro section. So I want you to think of something you want to ask us. But before you do that, while you're thinking about it, I got to let our audience know 365 pairs of shoes by the end of the year. So if you guys got new shoes, used shoes, or you want to donate cash, hit James up 619-884-0045 or james@csfirst.com. And of course, we do insurance, ladies and gentlemen. Workers' comp. We didn't even get to talk about the workers' comp. Workers' comp, we could talk about commercial. We could talk about, auto, home, life, health, whatever it is you need. Or maybe you want to add insurance into your mortgage office or into your real estate office because you want to increase that bottom line. Let us help you do that. Hit James up 619-884-0045 or james@csfirst.com, and dronequote.net is where you need to go to get your solar on. So dronequote.net/business bros. They'll send out a drone, take pictures of your rooftop, send the measurements out to solar companies, to roofing companies, and then you sit back and pick the offer that works best for you. Don't waste your time sitting in front of a bunch of salesmen for 2 hours for each presentation just to get a quote. Get it done the easy way, the right way. dronequote.net/business bros. You guys ready?
Ready.
All right, what's the question?
So you asked me this question, so I guess it's the same for both of you guys. So you asked me what my goal is at the end of all this. So I guess, what is your guys' goal with your guys' businesses, Pipeline Insurance, and your guys' companies?
Yeah, you want to go with that one first?
Sure. Well, it's a number of things. I think there's a lot of different things that we're trying to do. We have a number, right? Our financial goal is pretty simple: $30,000 a month. $30,000 a month in passive income. That's a number, right? But for me, and I mentioned this earlier, I've become really passionate about my why, which is, first of all, I'm inspired to spread positivity and to empower others to create wealth for today and generational wealth for tomorrow. And to me, that means that I help people to build their businesses, specifically in the insurance industry. And when it comes to building generational wealth, one of the things that really inspires me and drives me is to help people to create the wealth that they create for today and be able to pass it on to their next generations. It's something that I think, the wealthy have done for generations over generations over generations. And there's a lot of education that needs to happen for people who haven't made it quite that far, life insurance is a big thing that I'm pushing lately because life insurance, as Hernan would say, it is a love product. If you care about your families, if you care about your home, right? It took you and your spouse most likely to qualify to purchase this house. And so if something were to happen to one of you, then the mortgage should get paid off by that person's untimely death, right? Not that death is ever untimely.
No, it's never timely.
Anyway, but yeah, that is a big thing that I believe creates that generational wealth, is the ability to secure your home and pass it on to the generation to follow.
Yeah, I simplified and then expanded. Mine was rich and famous, right? So how do I do that? I'm gonna have to, the rich part. Yeah, the rich part is the number that we threw out, and the famous part is gonna be by helping as many people as possible. So his why, he has his why down. My why is to help you become a better you, so that you find purpose and happiness in life, because that is really what it's all about. It's not really about the money. It's about, what are you going to do in your day? You wake up every single day. Do you enjoy it or do you not? Do you hate Mondays and do you love Fridays, or do you really care what day it is because you're waking up every day happy?
Yeah.
That's really the ultimate goal. And if I can steer you away from, hitting that, numbers are important, right? We always have to look at our metrics, but not chasing the dollar, chasing happiness and purpose, then you're gonna enjoy every single day, that journey to get to that number a little better, I think. Personally,
100% agree.
That's powerful stuff. Yeah, that's awesome.
100% agree.
Yeah,
and that's why, like I was telling you but I think it was before the show, that my why is so important to me because it really has changed my life, and I get up every day inspired and ready to kill it. So
boom.
Eric,
thanks for coming on the show,
man,
my brother.
Appreciate it, honestly.
Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the rest of your Friday. Friday. And if you guys ever have any questions, make sure you guys hit us up. Banners are up top. That's all we got for you guys today. Peace. And
spread
we're
positivity. Bye bye.
See you, Facebook.
Peace out.
And
Peace
I'm
out.
at 100%, still at 100%.
That's one thing too I was looking into, is that